Welcome to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be looking for a donor car for the GTR, and we might even get a little bit of work done on it also, so stay tuned. Alright, so I want to let you guys know where we are on the parts for the GTR. I'm actively looking for a parts title or a certificate of destruction title donor car that I can use all the parts to repair my GTR. I've seen a few go at the sales. They went for more than I actually wanted to spend, but I'm coming to realize that I might have to spend that kind of money to get a donor car. I think that's plan A, that's option A, to have a donor car to swap everything over. I'm thinking that plan B would be buying everything individually, piece-wise. I think it would be more money that way. So that's going to be plan B. It isn't a viable option, but I think I'm going to have more money in the car if I do it that way. I've sourced all the major parts. I've had a lot of people reach out to me on Instagram and Facebook telling me that they have this part, that part, some interior pieces that they want to sell. And that, like I said, that would be a plan B. If I don't end up getting a donor car, that's going to be the way I have to go, is to go ahead and just get piece by piece. I've had actually a friend call me and tell me he had some airbags for the car that he would give me because they were just sitting around his shop. They converted a car to a race car, put a cage in it, and didn't need the airbags. So it was really cool of him to give those to me. And if anybody else has any parts for a GTR that they just want to give away because they're taking up room in their shop, holla at your boy. I could definitely use all the help I can get on this car. That being said, I'm still going to try to find a donor car. And if we can find one, great. But if not, buying it part by part is definitely an option. Alright, we're up here on Sunday. We're going to see if we can get a little bit of work done on this GTR. See if I can get the rest of the interior out. And just so you know, my dad made fun of me for putting a car cover over this thing. Alright, so I think we're going to start by taking out this airbag. Maybe get that steering wheel loose, get the cluster loose. Start taking everything I need to take off before I pull the dash out. So let's get started on that now. Got the dash pad taken out, got the steering wheel off, the clusters out of it, the airbag, all the radio stuff's all down here in the floorboard. What I wanted to do next was take off this frame and take everything loose all at once by unbolting the frame and just setting everything out. I'm not even sure if that's possible, but that's what I was going to try to do. Now, I do know that this frame here holds up the steering column, so I was going to have to support that because I still want to be able to steer this car until I get it on the rotisserie. But I ran into a problem. These bolts here, there's 4 of them. There's 1, 2, 3, and actually one underneath that little cover there, are 4 of the bolts that hold this dash frame on. There's a couple more here in the front, but I got these taken loose, and they're pretty long bolts. I was afraid of them running into the door, but I was able to get these 2 out. But these 2 up here in the front, when you take them loose, when you start to pull them out, they run into the door. So in order for me to get this dash frame out, I'm going to have to pull these doors off. So that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to go ahead and pull these door panels off and get the doors actually taken off of the car, and then we can start working on getting that dash frame out. Alright, so we got the crispy door panel taken off this thing. It's looking like the harness, all the plugs and the wires in the door itself, I think they're okay. Now this little plastic here got melted a little bit, but yeah, I might be able to use this harness. Now, I've got to get the door taken off. There's the harness plugs into the body right here, and you can see there's a little cam. I flipped it to the open position. Just flip that open, and then the plug will actually, it locks itself in, and it'll come out if you just flip this down like that. If I can do it with my fingers. I might have to take the door loose to get that the rest of the way out, but I've got to take this door limiter out, and there's a hinge bolt here and a hinge bolt down here that I've got to take loose. To get all those off, I'll be able to take this door completely off and set it to the side. So here's a little bit better look at that plug that goes into the side of the body from the door panel. You can see here, it just has this little lever here. It's in the locked position there. When it's in there, you just have to flip this switch, and that pops it open. So now it's ready to be plugged back in, and then you just flip this the other way and would lock it in place. This also opens up access to these bolts here that hold that dash frame in. So we'll be able to take these bolts out now and get them out, and maybe pull this whole dash out as one unit. So I think I'm going to leave the door panel on this side, because you don't have to take the door panel off to get this door off. You can take those nuts loose, get the wire unplugged, and get this check strap taken loose without pulling the door panel off. Now, I pulled the other door panel off because it was in such bad shape. I wanted to verify that the harness in the door was good, and it appears to be. But on this door, it's not bad at all. I'm pretty sure everything inside of this door is good. So we're going to leave the door panel on and just take the whole door off as a unit. Alright, so I thought I had all of the bolts in the dash frame taken out. That side, actually, you can lift it up and it's loose. But this side, not so much. There's some bolts in here somewhere that are still holding this thing to the car. And I think I see them. I think it's these. Let me see this. These bolts around this brake pedal here. And it's got this little brace that comes down here, and there's another bolt behind the carpet here. So in order for me to get to those, I've kind of got all this stuff just kind of sitting in the floor. All the stuff I took off from the dash, and the carpet's still in over here. So let me clean me a place to work out here and get this carpet out of the way, and then I can work on getting those bolts out and maybe get this dash frame out with all of this stuff attached to it. I'm having a little trouble getting this dash frame out with everything attached. And I think it's because the AC lines and the heater hose lines are still attached in the engine bay over there. So I think I'm going to take the front end apart by getting the fenders and the hood off this thing, also getting the core support off, and then taking everything out from inside the engine bay. And hopefully that'll alleviate anything that might be holding this dash frame in so I can get it the rest of the way out. Alright, so let's take a break from working on this thing and go to the Meet in the Middle 2020 and get some inspiration. Alright, so I'm back from meet in the middle, and I've got a lot of inspiration and motivation, so let's get back to work. Alright, so I got a lot of the stuff out of the engine bay here. I've got the heater hoses, the outside hoses disconnected. The AC lines are disconnected. I've got the wiring harness. Here it is here. Pulled up out of the way. I've got the brake booster out. I've got the ABS unit out. I still have to get these lines out the rest of the way, but I don't think those are holding my dash. So I'm going to grab the dash and see if I can get it pulled out. Let's see what happens. Alright, so I took everything out from underneath the engine bay here to see if I can get this dash loose, because I think that's what was holding it, but evidently it wasn't, because the dash still doesn't want to come out. So what I'm going to do next is start taking stuff loose underneath the dash, like the heater core box and the AC box, the plastic thing that's melted here. Start taking those loose and see if that's what's holding it in. If not, I'm just going to keep taking stuff loose until the dash comes out. Finally got the dash out of this thing. That pretty much wraps up the interior of it. There's a few small miscellaneous pieces, few modules, brake pedal over there, but pretty much the whole interior's out. So let's get this thing up on the lift. Alright, so we got the GTR up on the lift. Let's have a look at the bottom of this thing and see how bad it is. Doesn't look too bad in the back here. These rubber bushings here don't look like they're cooked too much. Got an aftermarket lower control arm. Back suspension, other than the cobwebs and being really dirty, I think it's all okay. I don't think anything got really hot back here that would distort this metal. The rear cradle looks okay. Looks like it's got some kind of ash or something on it. Fuel tank was in this thing. I wonder if there's any fuel in this thing. I'll have to take that out. Rear floor. Looks like it cooked the paint off here. Just got a little bit of rust. You can see the seam sealer got hot and kind of came off. We'll take a wire wheel and clean this up after we get it back from the media blaster once we get it on the rotisserie. The fuel lines are still on this thing. This side. Looks like there's a lot of smoke damage. I don't see really any distortion in the metal, like it warped up the metal at all from being too hot. This side didn't get too hot at all. That's the hot spot up there. This cradle looks even okay. Sway bar bushings. plastic here is kind of chalked up. It needs to be replaced. I would think all of the rubber bushings in this corner would definitely need to be replaced, but this little control arm might be okay. I might replace it anyways just to be safe. This lower suspension over here and the upper, looks like everything on this side is in really good condition. So I don't really see anything under here that scares me. This is the shifter cable and the it's like the emergency brake cable. Somebody cut them. Put a zip tie on here. And you can see this harness. I'm assuming this harness goes to the transmission, and it doesn't look like it's burnt or melted at all. So if this is a separate harness, it's probably okay. Yeah, I don't see anything that scares me would make me think that I would not want to move forward with this build. So in the next video, we'll get all the suspension off this car, get the deck lid off, get everything out of the trunk, get the rear bumper cover off so we can get this thing put on the rotisserie.
I wonder if everybody realizes in 20 years our country's going to be run by people that was homeschooled by day drinkers.
Alright, so that's going to be about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and this is the first time you're ever seeing me, consider subscribing and clicking on the bell icon. That way you won't miss any future content. If you got any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comment section down below. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya!